Well, yeah. So the last thing we wanted to talk about was a few, I guess, confirmations at DC, some James Gunn confirmation. So basically, shoot, what was it? So James Gunn confirms that the Blue Beetle is the first DCU character in the universe, but that Superman Legacy will be the first movie in the universe. So that surprised the hell out of me when he said that, because like, I guess that was my question this entire time since he announced the big like DC part 1 of phase 1 or whatever, is that like, yes, these 4 movies are coming out and he's like very positive on these 4 movies, and he left it open-ended, like whether they join or not. But like now it really feels like confirmed that the like Blue Beetle, if it makes, maybe not if it makes enough money, but if it's received really well, I think it's going to be like easily the first character, and he'll show up again in his universe.
I think that's already how it is, though. I don't think it's that they're waiting. You don't think
he needs to wait?
No, because he just confirmed it.
Yeah, but like, here's the thing. He hadn't said anything about Shazam, right? Like he's not confirming that the Flash is the first character. So here's the other thing I think this confirms is that maybe by the end of the Flash, like that's like when the entire old universe is just fully done, and maybe the Flash just sticks in that old universe and they transition to a new universe. I don't know. I don't know if that is even like a remote possibility, but I can't see like Blue Beetle being the first character if the Flash is still around, like I guess it doesn't make complete sense to me.
From what I gather about how the Flash ends, it's people still have questions, and I know that it seems like there's supposed to be a post-credit scene that they haven't shown to audiences.
I think there's going to be one.
So maybe that'll somewhat answer things.
Could be.
But I should also mention that this is all from a podcast that James was on.
Yeah.
The Michael Rosenbaum Inside of You podcast, which I watched. I watched the whole thing. I didn't necessarily interpret it this way until I was listening to a YouTuber who was talking about it. So Blue Beetle is the first DCU character, but maybe the movie itself is not going to necessarily be canon in some ways.
So you think...
And then
Yeah.
And I didn't think about this when at first, but I started to think about it.
That makes a lot of sense, honestly.
And then Superman is the first movie.
Right.
So if that is true, Blue Beetle and the actor, and I'm assuming his family or
sure. Right. The characters in that movie.
But at the very least, him, the Blue Beetle, will be in the universe.
Yeah.
But who's to say how much of the first movie will stay?
Like that maybe will determine things. Like the way it's received. Like I think if the movie is well received, then they could easily keep that movie canon.
But I would say like him saying that unless he walks back what he said, it sounds like he's pretty down to have Blue Beetle in the DCU. And especially since we have Booster Gold coming.
Yeah, but it's not the same Blue Beetle.
Sure, but there's not, who's to say you can't kind of
make a new relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I guess that's a really interesting thing. Because like I do like the actor and I like the way the suit looks. So I'm okay keeping those elements.
Movie looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool.
I mean, they thought it was, and he's seen it, right?
Sure, he's seen it.
And they still think it's good enough to go from streaming to an actual movie theater.
Yeah, that's very true. So, yeah, he probably, and he said, like he didn't say this about Shazam when he was like announcing the first phase 1 of the DC universe. But he had said originally about Blue Beetle is that like it's I think he said it like it's its own thing that fits really well into the new DC universe. So even back then, he was kind of already hinting at it, and yeah, I think this just confirms it.
Yeah. So I think maybe we take it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other big news, James Gunn didn't confirm this one, but basically, it's been heavily reported that the Authority is going to be now introduced in Superman Legacy.
Right.
Which I know at one point he had shot down a rumor that they were going to be the villain of that movie, which I don't think they should be the villain right from the start. I think like it should build up into that, maybe where there's a confrontation between like Superman / the Justice League and the Authority. But I think it's smart, maybe towards the end of this movie, to start like seeing a few of these characters pop up. Maybe not the whole team, but I still think like Superman should be the first hero in this universe, and maybe
I don't think that'll be the case.
You think other properties and people will be established already in universe, or
I don't think that Superman will be like, oh wow, the first meta.
No, I agree, but I don't know. Weirdly, I don't want the Authority to be formed yet by the time he becomes Superman.
Maybe they won't, but I think I mean, like in the comics, like he's teamed up with them.
They've had crossovers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And so I guess I see them like maybe they'll be built up as a threat, slightly throughout that movie.
Maybe.
And then, they'll have their own movie, and it'll be kind of cool. Like we'll have a villain movie,
Right.
I'm fine with it. It makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
I don't know if they're gonna be like the threat, the threat.
Right.
But
no, I don't think I would seriously doubt that they're the actual threat of that movie.
But I like it. I think it's cool.
And I would say
I don't think they're going to be a big part of it.
I seriously doubt they're the threat, because like I know how big of a fan James Gunn is of this character Superman, and like he knows a ton of Superman villains that I know he would love to use. So I have no doubt that these are just introducing for the universe. And I'm very excited about that, but it's nothing like huge.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if you wrote it down too, but when I was listening to the podcast, we had mentioned that like a couple weeks ago that Crypto was going to be in it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he did not confirm or deny.
Really?
So I can't say if that's actually happening.
Okay.
And the same thing with Lex. But I'm assuming Lex Luthor's going to be in it.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw also on that podcast, people were like quoting him saying that, he had made a promise to the podcast host that, his Superman or his Lex wouldn't be like Batman v Superman Lex. But then
yes, it was heavily alluded to.
But on Twitter, he clarified, that's the word, that he was actually like talking about, he was either all Lex Luthors or like the Lex Luthor from the original Superman movie, where he loves those first two movies, but he thinks it's like that performance is just a bit campy for him. But it's still good at points. But yeah, the other thing that James Gunn said in the podcast was that like the only superhero in the MCU who really has like a secret identity is Spider-Man, right?
Right.
And so he said that's something that they'll be using heavily in this DC universe, because like these characters are all very like fantastical, like big characters, and he was saying like with Superman, the character of Superman and Clark Kent are very different people. And so he wants to have that like real divide and show you how he is as both kind of identities. So if that's a theme that's reoccurring throughout the whole universe, I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I mean the way that he talked about DC and like the reverence that he had for it, and how it's we have these made up places that he can like world build, because that was what was really interesting to him, as opposed to like Marvel, which is like, we're gonna dump everybody into the actual world, and they're in New York and San Francisco,
right.
Which is, you know,
fine,
exciting to me as a DC fan.
Yeah. It was like Marvel's fine, but yeah, this is more exciting.
Yeah.